Michael D. Leonardo, also known as Mikey Scars. The government says he's a high-ranking member of the Gambino crime family.
No excuses with Michael D. Leonardo. I'm your host, RJ Roger. Michael, how you doing, brother?
Good. I see a lot of sun coming through this window over here. I may have to. Yeah, is the reflection bad?
It's not bad. I can see a little bit, but it ain't bad. No.
Let me see if I can tamp it down. Okay. Better. I think it's better.
There's Arkham. Michael, we were just talking about Arkham's yesterday. Here he is. Me and you were on the phone
There he
talking.
is. Hey.
We were talking about him yesterday. How you been, brother?
Okay. Very good. You must have heard it. Everything's bugged today, so you maybe did hear us. Who the hell knows?
Thank you for everybody. Went to pop on YouTube. And so we get a lot of questions. Michael's a very active commenter on YouTube. So whenever we do videos, 3, 4, 5, 600 comments come in. So Michael, do you ever take a day off of not answering comments?
No, unless I just mentally ill.
So, but it's like a nightly ritual for you, pretty much. Morning and night, I see them coming in.
Yeah, you're right. Unless something really comes up that I can't, maybe a day or two goes by, and then I try to catch up. But I feel I'm obligated. People ask a question, and you got to answer. What are you here for? Again, this isn't fundraiser. We don't need fundraiser. This is for being interactive, historic purposes, and fun entertainment. And if they're nice enough to come on here and be respectful, why shouldn't I answer? Let's fit the problems then.
You know, the funny comments are always like, is this really Michael? Or is this RJ? Or is this somebody else? Is this really you, Michael?
Yeah, but I think, you know what? I think it's gotten around now that they know it's me or you or Mikey. By the way,
I'll put my name like hyphen RJ or hyphen Mikey, but 99% of every comment comes from you, like actually typing it. That's not common in this genre.
Well, that's why we're a little different. Try to be a little different.
Yeah.
My cat's flipping. I just walked in again, and she wants attention. So don't mind her. She's 19. Yeah. She's set in her ways.
19. Everybody's here, so it's a lot of people here. But thank you for everybody for being here. The long timers are always here. Benny Mac, JJ, Roxana. The May Queen, Michael Caruso, of course, he's never misses a show. Same as Pat Travelino, Carrie, I Forgotti, Rob Bustella, Roxana, Kenneth, Tony Koresh, of course, he never misses a show. Joe Lanfranchi, of course, he never misses. Arkham, how are you, brother? Bobby, Bruce City, Joy Faraci, Incognito, so Scott. Yeah.
Oh, here's an interesting handle: sell soul for money. We have a few guys out there that have done that and continue to do it. I'm not specifically saying you. I never seen you before. Thank you for being here. Let's see how it works out. We have a lot of new people from. Even looks like I'm from YouTube on here. Names I've never seen.
RJ, you hung over from drinking with Jeff? No.
Who knew that?
We were live for 3 minutes. Yeah,
that was a live thing you did last night.
I sent you the link.
Yeah, but I was out drinking on my own. I wasn't watch you drink. I got jealous. I went out and drank. I only had 2 drinks though. That was it.
No, rest in peace, Jeff's father. Jeff's father's 2 year of his passing just hit. So Jeff asked me to come have a drink with him for his father. So
that was nice.
Yeah. Let's see here. All right, so let's jump right into it.
Yeah, let's go.
We're on YouTube, and maybe we should ask the question everybody's talking about in the genre, just to give you, maybe they can hear what some of your thoughts on the. And I still have some of the notes we took last time. If you have any questions about like the statistics or the different votes and stuff, but do you have an opinion? Well, yeah, I know you have an opinion. The New York City, you're New York City native, born and raised. You love New York City, even though it has it's changing. I think you still probably have a love for it. What are your thoughts on the election, Mamdani, all that stuff?
I think we're all being played. I really mean it. I think the electorate and the citizens and both parties, I think they're all playing everybody here. And seems like they want more divisiveness between everybody. Because if you really look at it, they put up the Three Stooges to run for mayor in the biggest city in the world, the greatest city in the world. Economy, the stock market, everything else that goes with it. Worldwide money in the city of New York, investments, buildings, and everything else. So I think, and that's really, I said the Three Stooges, but what I mean by that, to me, it was comical, the three guys that were up. And if everybody wants to see a good show, maybe we could put it in time on YouTube, what I mean about the three candidates. I think I laid out my case. Just to cut to the chase here, they wanted the Republican Party to drop out. Forget the name Curtis Sliwa. In my opinion, I think he would have been a good mayor. That's my opinion. I think he really loves New York. I don't think I know he loves New York, and I don't talk to this guy. He really don't like me. I don't really like the way he acts at times, but I think he had putting all that aside, look at it one way, I think he would have been a good mayor. But they wanted to disenfranchise the Republican Party. Wanted to disenfranchise the Republican Party in New York, telling this guy, the Republican candidate, to drop out of a race. That's not right. I'm glad he stuck in. I'm glad he stuck to his guns. He showed a lot of principle. And I really think it's a setup. Cuomo should have been pushed out by the own Democratic Party, not to run as an independent. They wanted, the Republican Party wanted Sliwa to drop out to vote for Cuomo. To me, it's insane. Cuomo hates everything. The guy, to me, he's on the borderline of communist, the way he administrated that state. He could have been one of the greatest governors in history of that state with his father's background and the Democratic machine behind him. But we seen what he did as governor. For me, again, I don't want to make it political, but these are my opinions, and we're allowed to say our opinions in this country. That's another thing. If I like Curtis Sliwa and somebody hates Curtis Sliwa, doesn't mean I should be negated on my opinion. That's what this country is about. That's where we came to a very bad spot in this country. And I leave that up to the leaders of all the parties. That's them doing it to us. We're just the sheep following along into slaughter. So I really think they wanted Mamdani to be the mayor of New York. You couldn't put up a candidate in 4 years. My opinion, every election cycle, right? When somebody wins or loses, no matter what, from president on down, right? When they lose, that election cycle starts again. It begins from that next day. For the next, even it's 4 years away, they start again campaigning and raising money. They had 4 years or 2 years or X amount of years to put up a real Republican candidate in that state. They couldn't find one person, not one. Nobody's got integrity in the whole state that's a Republican. And again, I'm neither. Lay the groundwork. Everybody's heard me on Patriot say this ad nauseum. For people who don't know, I don't vote, don't believe in the system. It's all set up. So I have conservative values and I have liberal values. I'm pragmatic, I feel. And I think I have the right to be like somebody wants to be far left or far right. So go be that way. But you got to open your mind when it comes to politics and running the machine. And the machine is any district, whether it be president or the congressperson or a mayor or alderman for that matter. And I think we were set up. And if you can, if you're on YouTube, watch our show. If not, maybe RJ and I and Mikey get together and we'll decide if we put that up there. Because I think it opens up some avenues for people to think a little differently about what went on. This whole thing about being Mamdani, be mad at him. Why you want to be mad at him? Won. The guy won. It's the will of the people. The people came out and voted him. And the people don't want to sit back that didn't come out and vote, if they don't like him, too bad. Not accept it. You know, we were all told to accept Trump, right? I had this talk with RJ way back. It's only 4 years. Give the guy a shot. Let's see what happens. Give him 6 months. Give him a year. Let's see what his agenda, how it unfolds. They're all lying. They're all going to lie to us. They're all going to promise us things and not do it and not do it. Certain things get done and then they block and then they make deals. And the American people are suckers. And one thing I can't stand is when they say, oh, the Democrats, oh, the Republicans. That's to get us fighting. No, when I say Democrats or liberals or Republicans, I mean the people that run the country. People in Washington don't want to do nothing. How is it everybody's not getting everything? Air traffic controllers, the military, everything else. But those guys up there think us suckers, they're all getting paid. How is that? Swallow that, liberals. Swallow that, conservative. Do something about it. You know what? They're never gonna go in their own pockets. They're in Washington, D.C., eating in the best restaurants, getting their salaries. They promised during the campaign, which was pretty stunning. They were asked, what's the first thing you'll do in so many words? What's the first thing you do? Maybe RJ could pull it up. When you get elected. Everybody said they're going to Israel, but one guy. The whole state's upside down. The whole city's upside down. You're gonna go on vacation already? You're gonna go to Israel? You gotta worry about New York. That's why you elected you, not to be a representative of Israel. And this is not anti-Semitic. You didn't run for a political position as Israel. You ran as the mayor of New York. Straighten everything out. And then go take your vacation on all out dime once you fix it. You deserve it then. But until then, put your boots on. Dig in. Fix the city. And this guy Mamdani, again, I would never vote for him. That's just my opinion. But he laid out everything he was going to do and was. Whether he could do it or not is another thing. But he laid out that agenda. People either sat home, didn't vote, or voted in mass for this guy. So I'm not going to say I feel sorry for New York. I don't. It's always in your hands, like every other big city in this country. You vote them in or vote them out. The definition of insanity is what, RJ?
Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Exactly. There we go. Isn't that simple?
Do you, Squally said, how do you, like, what are your thoughts on Trump coming out at the end, at the last minute and endorsing Cuomo?
Very bad. You gave up the Republican Party. You had all, like I said, articulated earlier, you had all this time to put a guy in place. You have not, in years, in many elections going back, you have not put anybody, put a mayor up that's viable, credible. Giuliani was probably the last guy that a Republican put up that really had his heart in the city. And everybody knows how I feel about Giuliani. I don't like the guy. But if you wanted to put up a candidate, Republican Party, you should have found somebody. It's easy to find somebody. Very easy. So, and then this next thing about we're going to punish New York and not give them any funds. What is that about? Here we go, playing politics with the populace again.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, because Kenneth said New York is screwed because there's not going to be no federal aid coming from Trump. How do you feel about that? I mean, if the president is playing around with state funds that are allocated towards the state, it doesn't matter. I mean, imagine a Democrat saying, I'm going to deny funds to Texas, or I'm going to deny.
We're doing it right now. Aren't they doing it right now? With the CR, the continuing resolution? They got the whole country backed up?
Well, yeah, but I'm saying just for the shutdown's one thing. But when you say, I don't like this state or this party, it's one country. We're not divided up by states. We're a unified country. When you start, to me, the scary thing about doing stuff like this is you set precedent. That's why I said about the debate right now over opening the government back up with 51 votes. It's so go ahead, but just know you're not going to always be in power. Like, so you might do this while
the country would be dysfunctional if you did that. But getting back to that, When Trump won, the Democrats went after the liberals. They went after him hard. It wasn't fair. Give the guy a shot. Trump's going to do the same thing to New York. You're going to punish a state. There's many people who live there that voted for the Republicans or listened to you and voted for Cuomo. So I think it's a really, really bad precedent. You wouldn't even lay siege to New York now. I just don't get that. And going back to the Democrats right now, and I'll say the same thing about Mamdani. Same thing. Just put the parties and the people out of your brain. White House, Senate, Congress. Democrats are supposed to give them what they want right now. Give them the votes, let them go. Right now, Mamdani won. Whatever funds that the federal government has to give to that state, let it fly. It's the same thing. You're playing the same game with the sheep. All of us, with the sheep. You're playing the same game with people's lives on a political level to make the other people look bad.
People talk shit about young people, but they have been handed horrible cards. I think that's something that we have to start more increasingly discussing, because the state of the young people were raised by the group above them. These were people who had a foundation laid out for them. They were schooled a certain way. What do you think about that, Michael? How everything's blamed on the young, but is the young just a condition of the people who were here prior to them?
Oh, everybody was young at one time. Was it? Weren't we young at one time? Everybody, every generation was young. The country was young. It's always something of growth, and it's secular. Politics is secular. The mindset is secular. You go back way back to slavery. It was normal. Slavery was normal, wasn't it? Today, to go reflect back on slavery as being normal, it's not. But at that time, it was a normal thing. And you could play that card throughout history, whatever subject you want to talk about. It was normal then. We could always go back and learn from those mistakes. That's what history is supposed to do for us. Look back in history and see the mistakes and try to make it better. But those people in that time period were young, like these kids today, young.
But they inherited more. We're in a moral.
Inherited something. There's always something inherited that somebody don't like. Look, it's
this is the hardest time. I can't think of any research time period that's harder for. To me, it is hard for young people today. It's a tough. We didn't grow up with this shit in these phones and this technology and showing nudity and all this grotesque stuff to young people. To me, there's been a moral decline in society that young people haven't inherited a moral or a structured way of living. Gentle parenting. These kids are so soft, but the parenting was gentle. The parenting is more of the problem, in my opinion, than, just in my I'm 40. Just in my generation, we ate at the table.
Right.
So that's how differently it is now for today's young people. It's just I think they're set up for a bad. It's just a tough world for young people. I think they have it real hard, really, really hard for young people today.
Well, I have a little more faith in it. Yeah, you're 100%, because I would say that people from the mid 40s to like maybe mid 20s right now, there was a shift of free for everything mentality, that you really didn't have to go to work. Just go to college, stay in college. I know a lot of parents that the kids are still in college, they're in their 30s. They just go to college. To do what? They're in college and they get free stuff. Or their parents have a lot of money to subsidize them. Go to Columbia University, Harvard, $80,000 a year. How's that possible? Then should never be. Their coffers are filled with billions and billions of dollars, and the United States government, federal government, still gives them money. Meanwhile, people are starving, or people can't make it into that school. They don't have 60, 80,000 to go. So
look at
the
this
government, again, I put everything on the leaders of the country.
Yeah,
to make it better. It all comes back to them, because they're fed, those generations are fed a cycle of news, a cycle of propaganda, of thought. The 60s, burn the bra, burn the draft card, liberalism, free speech at any speech. Now that whole thing is turned around. Is same party is they don't want you talking. Suppress speech, shut you down in the campuses, shout you out, block it out. You're not allowed in to speak. Conservative values. So that party has flipped itself. Now, I think between my son Anthony's age, the 25-year-olds, for what I'm seeing, and a little younger, they're having more principle of eating home and stuff like that, from what I've been seeing. Not on a mass scale, but for what I've been seeing, it seems to be changing a little bit. Back.
You can't blame the young. No way they're ever going to be able to buy a house, repay their education. I have all educated people working for me for $25 an hour. How do you live in that city from New York City? And this is what I'm constantly want to ask. The price of everything is so seesawed away from what you earn versus what it costs. The price of a home, the price of an education, the price of a used car, the price of groceries, the price of everything. And young people are doubt these cards. It's a tough country for them. People say, oh, they're living at home at 26. Their options at getting an apartment, rents went up 40% in the last 5 years. 40%. Rent cost, before you could buy it was cheaper than buy. You got a lower payment than the rent. There's no cheap option no more. Rents are high, mortgages are high, 7% mortgage rates, all this kind of stuff. It's very difficult for them. Very, very hard road for them. Yeah. While you have technology competing for their job, you have AI and stuff like that. It's a tough world. I really truly believe it's a tough world for them.
Well, this is where the carrot of the subsidies come in all the time. And you have to, the people that are going to work that can't afford these things, how do you not try to help them? Because what are they going to do? Total collapse? And then you got to fund them fully? So the country's in a bad spot, very bad spot economically. It's going, they've been saying, I've been hearing this as a kid, it's going to be rich and poor. And we're seeing it really rapidly get here. With AI, wait till they introduce AI when nobody has to work. Do you think we're talking about it now? Forget about it. And look how censored everybody is. How many videos got censored for no reason on here in the last month? Tell them.
Oh, I filed 4 appeals last night on our videos. 4.
At just one night. Over nothing. They censor this. They're going to censor this also. You don't think they're going to take this down? They may take it down like they did one of the other videos that we talked about, politics. This is part of the problem. You don't capitulate, you don't toe the line, you get punished. So, economically, the same thing. You can't have a job unless you're in a company that you're like-minded with them. I'm talking about a major company. You get thrown out the door. So,
this is a great point. I like this point. I'm tired of hearing we need laws with term limits. The voters are the term limits. Wow, what a fantastic point. And shame on us, because Congress got a 5% approval rating, but they have a 97% reelection rate. We're mad every year, but we go back in and vote for the same person. And we got to drop the tool bag at some point. We got to drop the bag and walk away from the line and say, we're done here. We're done with this. So I think that's a bit of a good point.
It is.
I do believe in term limits. I'm not saying I want term limits also. I'm just saying I see his point there. We can term limit them ourselves by just not continuing to go out and vote for them.
And you know what the litmus test has been for generations? They're all going to vote the same. And you know that, RJ. What you're saying, JJ, is a valid point. But we've seen it. We're going to vote this line, and that's it. This is the whole problem. We're going to vote this agenda, and that's it. And people are sheep. They fall for it. And when they don't, they scream from the mountain. We're gonna take care of all your loans, college students. We're going to wipe them all out. They don't tell you how. They don't tell you where the money's going to come from. Something's got to be. We're going to give you $600 a week on top of whatever you had as unemployment. Then you stay home, relax. It's all a game. We're being bribed.
I want to push you on that one because that's the most common thing. So the most common thing you hear. So I want to get your opinion on this. Whenever there's money being asked for to help people in this country, whenever you're saying something, let's say that they're saying give out free buses, let's say they're saying, or options for single moms to have a place and take their kids, or student loan forgiveness or something, or mortgage relief. Working people pay a tax, but whenever they might ask for a little help back from their government, they pay the money in. Whenever they ask for a little help back, they're junkies, they're lazy, they're socialist, they're communist, all these things. But the biggest thing you hear is, where's the money going to come from? So I guess my question, when we always say, where are you getting the money from? Why do we always seem to have so much money for the corporations, for the rich people, for foreign aid, for Israel, for Ukrainian wars, for wars in the Middle East? Why do we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars available for everybody but middle class people? We never have no money to help college kids. We never have any money to help a single mom. We never have any money to pay SNAP benefits. We never have any money but we have all this unlimited money for big corporations to give Elon Musk subsidies for his Teslas. And how much money do we give? We spend how many trillions in the Middle East? Why do we have money for all that nonsense to rebuild other countries with roads, bridges, highways, and hospitals?
Well, that's why you need term limits to get those people out, because they're already set. It's a setup. They're all set up to keep doing the same thing. I can't appropriate funds, could you? Your politicians appropriate funds. When you got a guy like Mitch McConnell who can't even walk, when you have Dianne Feinstein, they can't even walk, they're tugging a, what should I say? Yes, you got to say yes. I mean, it's on film right in front of you. Like when you have people just sitting in there and dying in office, and they have somebody else telling them what to say. They need term limits, because most people come into politics, most people, not the elitists, not the people that their mothers and fathers were involved in the people that were plumbers, electricians that should be running, people like truck drivers. They'll come in with a fresh head. But what happens? They get swallowed up by the shiny objects they put in front of them all the time. So what do? Their constituents are always going to vote the same, because they're going to give them those little monies. And then they're going to promise them things they're never going to do. You need term limits. You can't leave it up to the electorate, because you need that fresh face. Maybe there are some people that could change. They can't be compromised, because these politicians are compromised. Come on. Look what they do in the stock market alone. I think all of them that, you could go to one side of the party, the other side of the party. Look how much they're worth when they leave. What's the mayor of New York going to do in Israel? What's the Adams and every other mayor in New York? Like, what are they doing in France? Why is the mayor in New York in France? Why is he in Italy? What are they doing in Italy on the city taxpayer dollar? These are the monies that are abused. And you're right about subsidies, because we subsidize how many countries? But when Trump tries to stop it, he gets abused. No, you can't do that. They need condoms in Nigeria. What? $10 million worth.
Yeah, but we have
the misappropriation starts with them being comfortable in that seat. Those are slush funds that are going to somebody they bribe. Those are bribes. An Italian doing that would get 20. It'll give you a racketeering case all day long. If anybody did, any citizen here did what they do in the stock market, those people, you'd be in prison. They get nothing. It's the same old, same old. And who pays for it is the people. That's why there's no money, RJ, because they misappropriate for the favors they ought to keep.
But there is money, because now.
I know, but you don't understand what I'm saying. With the excuse there is no money is because it is out there. They just keep printing it. But the thing is to bribe. They use that to bribe and keep, look, no saying. You keep your foot on somebody's neck. You let them breathe enough. And that's enough. That's how you control them. That's what goes on. They got the foot on everybody's neck here. Nobody's going to afford rent. How you spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month for rent? How are you going to get that? How much you got to earn a week? Said somebody $25 an hour. Years ago, $25 was a big salary. I remember when I was young in the 70s, $250, you made money. I remember seeing a show. Jimmy Brown was on the news one time. They had put up a salary. I think it was the early 70s with the garbage strike, I think it was. And the association came in and they were picking up the city, the private were picking up the city garbage. They said, wow, you make $700 a week. I said, wow, this guy makes $700 a week. What a lot of money. It's at that $700, you can't do nothing. What are you going to do with $2,800 a month? And before taxes. So yeah, we're in trouble, and it's the same people doing this to us. It's the same old thing, the same old story.
Yeah,
You
to me,
gotta-
I just want to like it's when I think about it, then when someone because I don't see no evil in saying, can we have some maybe a single mom can have a place to take her kids to without being called a junkie,
yeah,
without being
that
called a
shouldn't
lazy
be that
good for
shouldn't be a
nothing.
political thing.
Yeah,
If
I don't
she's
think it's
working, has a job, that she can't be home, that shouldn't be a problem with daycare. They should have these places set up.
this comment here is so true. RJ, it's funny. The middle class and the poor are it's for the middle class and the poor, it's called entitlements. For big corporation, it's called subsidizing. And that is so true. And I just wish people could understand how much the real welfare, it ain't down here, it's up there. There's people sucking billions and billions and billions of dollars out of our government, and they use their funds to pay for media ads and take out newspaper articles to teach everybody that the poor is your problem. Someone getting SNAP benefits. Someone just made a good point on here and said cutting SNAP benefits just before Thanksgiving is appalling to me. There's no reason this country has to cut SNAP benefits. Well, and look, listen to this, Michael. Top recipients of U.S. foreign aid last year, 2024. Right down the line, Ukraine. They were saying $6 billion. We know we gave them more than that.
Oh, yeah.
Democratic Republic of Congo, 1.5 billion, 4 billion to India, 4 billion to Turkey, 3 billion in Afghanistan. I mean, these numbers are, it's Ethiopia, 1.2 billion, Sudan, Nigeria, all these countries we're giving billions and billions to. I don't want to hear no more. We don't have no money for the American people. We only have it for rich people, and we only have it for foreign countries. No, I want someone to start talking about the middle class again. That's what I want. I want a politician that starts talking about the middle class again and stop calling them lazy, good for nothing junkies because they get a little bit of subsidy back against their tax dollar.
I agree. Look, I get Social Security. I get the minimum.
Yeah.
How are you going to live on that? Yeah, I'm not crying. I'm okay. But I'm just saying, what if I had to?
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way you could exist.
All right, let's take some questions.
Yeah, let's go.
So guys, we did a whole show on all this on Patreon. So if you want to kind of hear a little more details about it.
Well, tell them we're going to do Patreon questions first, and then we're going to do everybody else as we could get to them.
Yeah. First question. Do you feel with the weak administration that was in place, your knowledge of the life and pedigree within it made you a threat to some after a senior passed away?
Well, I get you. I get what you're saying about a weak administration, but those are the people you got to fear the most because those are the ones that could act and hurt you. When you have smart people at the top of any corporation, and especially this life, it's like having Gravano and Gaspipe and Nicky Scarfo was boss on the Boston called CEO. What do you think's going to happen? Everybody's all over the place. You want somebody smart. And but what I wound up with, and with the Gambino family, of course, wound up with near the end was it was like discombobulated. There was really no direction. After those panels were set up, because after a while, everybody's getting pinched on those panels since John went away. And it was really, an administration should have been set up when Junior was in the street, and it would have been more structured. As far as myself, I can't answer that. The only thing I can say is what the outcome was. And when on my second case, after I beat the Atlanta case, which was a miracle, second case, it spoke volumes on the decision-making capacity there and my standing within those three people, which I guess didn't seem too good with them, my standing. So, which is still befuddling to me because I still don't know what I did wrong. But that's up for them to say when I was in the street. So, yeah, it's always the powers to be. And I was just, even though I was a captain, you're still a soldier in that family. And you just listen to orders and you follow. And yes, if you have the wrong people in any position of power, it can be very dangerous in that life.
I know we're going to talk a little bit about the Carrazos, but I was thinking about this today when I was driving in to do my show prep. Was John a bad judge of character to a certain extent? Because a lot of the problems like the administration, these are his. He really liked JoJo a lot. JoJo created a bad administration, a lot of problems for you. He was really, Frankie DeChico caused a lot of problems with agreeing to take down Paul. It really is probably what ended the long Gambino reign that they had. When you look at, he put Pete Gotti in place as be boss for the next boss. Wasn't a good choice. You said Junior could have gotten better, but he wasn't ready. Puts Junior in to essentially be his unofficial acting boss.
Yeah.
He brought Sammy up. We know what happened with Sammy. When you see all these power positions, all these people who he kind of put in place around them, when you had better people out there, like we talked about before, Danny Marino, Jimmy Brown, maybe even the Carrazos possibly. Well,
Joe Curry.
Well, yeah, Joe Butch. And when you look at some of these people, did John have a? What do you think?
Well, he led with his heart with Sammy. He led with loyalty because of the action against Paul and Tommy Bellotti and against the commission. So he acted with emotion. Did he think that Sammy was going to be the best underboss ever? No way. But he led with his heart with that and thought Sammy would be really a loyal guy to him and wouldn't play any shenanigans. And as the tape speaks volumes, of course, on the mistake of Gravano being the underboss. But that was the cards he's dealt with. Don't forget, he lost Jeannie, he lost Johnny Cadilla, he lost Angelo, he lost a lot of guys that were really close in his inner circle. By the time 1990 rolls around, and you have when John's sitting in there in prison, you lose Bobby Borriello to a murder, and again at that time an unknown murder, a mystery. It would have been 3. So he was dealt a tough hand there of who to trust and who not to trust.
How do you trust
with the dirty stomachs downstairs? He knew the guys with the dirty stomachs. So, but what was he going to do? Put them in place? He knew he had a problem with the family. And, you go back to Nicky, he had a kid around him, a man around him, Andrew DiDonato, who said Nicky was going to kill Junior. So where was the loyalty of, if it's true, right? Where's the loyalty of Nicky? And Nicky's on tape saying he's going to be the boss. He's got caught on tape saying that. So, and I know for a fact, there was never any talk about from John Gotti Sr. or Junior's mouth that they were going to turn over power to Nicky. No way. That conversation never, ever happened. Junior felt he could control Nicky. But yeah, huge mistake. And if it is true, look at the mistake he made. If Nicky don't get pinched, maybe Junior's dead. So, and it would have been one of those other mysteries. Oh, what happened to Junior? Who knows? Maybe he's one of those other 3 that died. Whoever's doing it. It would have been easy to kill him and get away with it. And what would the other families have said? That's just another Gotti out of the way, right? John's got life. His whole crew is gone, just about. So, I don't think it was intentionally having bad character judgment. I think it was just his inability to pick from a good flock. There wasn't the talent there. Look, at the end, he picks me to be conseiller, and I refused. So,
yeah, I guess I wonder. Sometimes do you start looking at a person's track record of loyalty? So you might say, DeChico, we saw the video. He turned on all his former friends. Remember all the people you showed me in the video where he turned on Jimmy Brown, turned on all those guys. There was a reason DeChico was inside a Spark Steakhouse at the table when Paul was killed.
Yeah.
Paul trusted him.
Yeah,
turned 100%. On Paul. Paul treated the Chicos very well. Sammy kind of turned on Tato, turned on Paul. Paul empowered Sammy. It just makes you wonder, like when you're seeing a track record of disloyalty with guys you're applying loyalty to and bringing them up close to you.
Well, that's the irony of calling each other brothers and having bonds. John did have a select group of guys he trusted. His crew was galvanized. Frankie was really the outsider, a Brooklyn guy, that came into John. Even though they were that close, John's guys were John's guys from childhood. So, yeah, John was in a box there for a while after everybody was off the street. But you're right. It's a whole life of treachery because everybody turned on each other.
Yeah.
And, in hindsight and seeing it, that's why I didn't take that position. I told you think I want to be considered with Pete and Arnold? You got to be kidding me. No way. I ain't going to be stuck with them. I'm sitting in this seat that I'm going to get, streetwise, I understand the rhetoric that will happen for me speaking this way. But at that time, that was my thought process. Do I really want, when Nikki comes home and he don't have an administrative spot, which Nikki should have been offered one. He should have been offered the underboss spot, even if he was away. Nick, when you're going to get home, because that's the balance, the counterbalance that you need in the family. Nikki, if Nikki's going to be the boss, why would he need to kill Junior? Think about that. If he's going to be the boss, Junior's just a captain or a soldier or administration, if he wants to put him in. Why would he have to kill Junior? So if he's killing Junior, that means he wasn't going to be boss unless he took it. Think about it, right? So, the talent wasn't there. I didn't want to deal with it. Why? Why should I have to deal with it at that point? I was happy. I was a captain, made a lot of money. I was doing everything I wanted to do. Was I a Gotti loyalist? Absolutely, a Gotti loyalist. But I did not want to participate in any administrative capacity at that point. If it would have been early on, and Junior would have says, look, I'm going to be the active boss till my father dies. Nikki's going to be underboss. Mikey, you want that spot? I would have said, why don't you give it to the old man for a little while? Then I'll take it later on if it's okay. I would have given it to Joe Corey because Jimmy was in jail. Danny, those guys would have never got it. Well, there was Gotti's in power at that time because of the stigma there and the stink that might have been that they were part of the overthrow of our family after Paul died. So, I would have tried to defer that like I did being on the panel. Junior asked me twice. When guys came off, I said, nope, leave it to the old timers. Let's stay in the background. You're going to make the decisions. Let's stay in the back. What are you getting in the front for? You don't need to hear it. Let them bring in the stuff. So anyway, you need to make good decisions in that life or people pay with their lives at that time.
And that's what I'm saying. I sometimes think John was more loyal than the life is a loyal life. I don't know. I think John was very loyal to Charlie Wagons. He was very loyal to Neil. He was very loyal to Angelo, even though he should have probably killed Angelo, as you talked about before. He didn't kill his friends. The only person that was John's real friend that he turned on John first, and that was the Willie Boy thing. Yeah. But he didn't kill his friends. I think John showed more loyalty than was showed back to him, and that's probably one of those things. When you're sitting in that cell, you're thinking about that. Man, all these guys, I never turned on nobody, but and so yeah.
What else we got?
Let's see here. Next Patreon question. Do you think the life got carried away with all the murders in the 80s?
Oh, what a great question. And I say, this goes to the other side of the Atlantic with this. 79 to 80 and throughout the 80s, I mean, up until, let's say, the Colombo War, when it ended, there was something in the air. Every family was killing their own members at a big rate. There's a lot of guys murdered in New York and other states too. Philly. Look, people, after they killed Andrew Bruno until today, that family's been a disaster. Philly guys. There's no semblance there. There really never was. What'd they have to kill? They killed Tester after that. They killed Caponegro. They killed Johnny Keys. They're killing and killing and killing. Stanford wants to kill this, Joey. And it was never the same after. This is what I'm talking about. They took out a guy like Bruno, who was a stable figure. They want to change. Somebody wanted to change. They don't like the way it was. But forever, that family was a great family before that. So the people of change destroyed that, and still till today. Family's wrecked. Colombo family, the same thing. They killed so many guys in that family, so many good guys, because of paranoia of an overthrow. Who knows if those guys were to overthrow anybody? I'm not talking about the last war. You go all the way back. The banana guys, Joe Messina, disaster. How many good guys? He was killing 3 at a time. That's crazy. So, yes, the 80s was, there's not enough spoken about the 80s with all the murders in every family in New York and Philly. And I think Boston, I tell you what, you could throw Cleveland in there. Because they had some bad problems there. After Scalish was gone.
Would you agree? It just seems like the more you were separating from lineage, the more violent it got. As you were moving away from lineage guys, the more violent it became.
Yeah, because the trust factor wasn't there. The clannishness wasn't there because the clannish was with your relatives and your uncles and your paisans from your own town. Because the paisans from your town were almost like your relatives when they got here. And as soon as it started to get infused with other guys that were born here and that kind of thinking, and I need to rise to power a little quicker. Well, I don't like what you're doing. We're just going to clip you. That's why those checks and balances were put in early on about killing bosses and soldiers, killing soldiers on the sneak within your own family with the mysteries. Nobody could get straightened out. So, even with that, bosses died and guys got clipped on the sneak, even with all that.
Yeah, that was always my position. That you got just street people, not Cosa Nostra people. And the difference I always thought in how you study them. You got these guys who are just murderers. John's classic line on the tape: I need guys that can do more than just kill. I need some guys that are about something, not just a guy that can shoot people, kill people. I need someone that can do something. So
that's 100%. Again, that's lost. That's lost in John's aura, whatever. They think it's just kill, kill, kill because the bodies did line up under Gravano after Paul Castellano. Nobody knows who John killed before Paul, did they? Where's all the murders? They were because that group of guys kept it real. John's guys. They did a lot of work. Don't listen to anybody out there. John never killed anybody. That is not true.
Jeff, they do. You listen?
Right. Listen, this is not a bragging right to say it, but there are these misnomers and these rumors out there
crazy
that to say dispel that John was ever a tough guy. That's not true.
It's crazy. Every time I hear this stuff, but that's the thing with this thing. It gets to a point now where people think, well, I didn't read it in no book, so that means that, I didn't see it on no. So they think, I think John's pride alone would want to be a working guy. I just think John's personality alone would not want to walk around running the Gambino family without saying, well, he told you before. He took a guy's virginity, or how did he say? He popped his cherry, you said, or something? Joe Watts. He popped.
Joe Watts' cherry.
Yeah, I popped Joe Watts' cherry. I took Joe Watts on his first hit, is what John was saying. So, right. No, I agree with you. Let's see here. Do you know that Nino Gadji believed that the social clubs from all the families were drawing too much attention from law enforcement? And do you agree with him?
I never heard that before. Nino complained about that. Nino was at the club every day on 86th Street. I never heard. Interesting. You can find where that comes from. I like to see the document or the soundbite to it. Interesting, because Nino loved hanging around at the club with all the guys. Don't forget, when he was there, he was a force. It was like seeing Paul walk in the door. He was Paul's guy. No question. Until the old saying, you're friends until you're not, until DeMeo started to get exposed. And the Emelito was getting killed.
Why are you so against the idea of having someone stay at the Ravenite so the feds can't enter to place bugs?
It's very simple. There's no reason to talk in the Ravenite. And why would you want to have somebody sit? Do you really think even if somebody stayed in there 24 hours, you don't think they could bug that place? With all the equipment they got? They hit through glass, hit through walls. They could put a spike in the wall. They could go upstairs and drill a hole down. They're sleeping in a place they can do nothing. I'm not making fun of your question, but the most paramount thing is never talk in that spot. You gather, you hang around, you can make an appointment, talk about less than nothing. Everybody gets to see each other's face, play a little cards and do all that stuff. But if you're going to talk business in there, criminal business, you're out of your mind. anywhere, in your house, in a club, in a restaurant that you go to all the time. Look at all the mistakes guys made in restaurants. Look what happened with Bobby Manning. They wanted to kill John and Jeannie. They got caught talking in the bathroom. I think it was the girls' bathroom for that matter. You don't talk in places that you're a creature of habit to going to. The New York Manhattan was so wide open. John was out every night if he wanted to. 4 nights a week he was uptown Manhattan. Now, look at the film. How many walk talks he did around the block with umbrellas when it was raining? Those conversations never got captured. There's no tapes on them. Why not keep doing it?
It's cold.
He made a mistake. He got comfortable with that apartment. See, there's this thing about only a few people knew about that apartment. That's a lie. In that club, the back, you walk in the front door, there was a back door. The back door led to the hallway, which led to the stairs to go up. The government had their hallway bugged. They had the parking meters bugged. They had inside the Ravenite bugged. They had the phone in the Ravenite. They had everything bugged. When they hear John not talking anymore, that's all I can do is ask one of the informants, hey, John, where'd John go? We didn't hear him for an hour. He went out the back door. There's a back door? Yeah, the back door goes upstairs. Oh, okay, let's go find. So many people knew about that apartment. So having somebody sleep in somewhere, and somebody mentioned about the John had Junior's wedding, had an apartment, and he had Jimmy Irish sleeping in there. And what does that mean? The manager don't know John's going to have the apartment. The assistant manager don't know. The cleaning people don't know. People don't know. They know that there was going to be Junior's wedding for a year before, whatever they started planning it. You don't think they're going to know we're going to start bugging things? John got lucky bringing all those guys to another apartment from other families, not getting recorded. Crazy. I went long on that, huh?
No.
Yeah, it says real quick. I thought Dux was a great boss also. He was until when? Until he wants to go talk in his car with Sally Avila, and talk about all the commission and all bosses. He was a great boss until then. Another guy fell asleep.
But he was even a good boss then, because all the bosses talk. It's just where did you get caught talking or not?
That's right. That's it.
But they all talked in their car. They all talked in their house. They all talked in the clubs. They just not all of them got caught on it.
Yeah, Fat Tony got caught because talking about the commission in his club that he had for 80 years in Harlem. Come on.
Jimmy Brown was one of the guys, I believe, that was arrested in the original Windows case when they had all those guys going into. I think it was the commission case. He was one of them, but he never got convicted. Charges were dropped against him, I believe, because even though they saw him going into Paul's house every day, he never.
And his name was mentioned on tape by Dux and by Salerno and others.
But you never heard his voice. He would sit there like he wasn't in there talking.
He only got 6 years for a murder too.
Well, because Sammy told on him.
But he only got 6 years for a murder too.
Oh, that's a good point. Why? How's that?
And he got dropped out of the commission case.
You're introducing new information to the. No way.
How do you get 6 years? So I'm just throwing it out there. That's all.
Making me think now. Make a little.
Who gave up the commission meeting with Paul?
And how did he know not to be in there talking?
Okay.
Come on, Michael. Don't do this to history.
I'm just throwing it out there. Listen, this is about letting people think.
It's a good point.
I know I gave you something to go over. Not tonight. You're going to knock yourself out about this.
I don't know, Michael.
I told you I got a lot up here. Sometimes it comes out. Sometimes I let it sit.
It's a good point. Jimmy Brown, Tony. Okay.
Downtown Jimmy Brown.
You're right. He did get 7 years for when Sammy told everything. You're right. Yeah. He died in jail, but he only got 7. Okay.
Again, just a quick one. It's a misnomer that if you get arrested and you get jail time, you can't be a cooperator. No. Cooperators do, CIs, confidential informants do go to prison.
Okay. That's a highlight. I'll take that one. That makes sense. Same reason I have my theory on Joe Watts. Why wasn't he arrested with John, Sammy, Tommy Gambino, and Frankie Loke, even though he was with John every single day? Why wasn't he up in the apartment with everybody else? He was with John every day. Every day he was with John. Why wasn't Joe Watts picked up?
See, these are the little things out there, food for thought, that we like to hear from the masses on here. Make that disclaimer, please. Thank you, Tim. Make that disclaimer about donations, please, and where they could do with the money if they want.
Times are hard. Michael, I bought a box of K-Cups today. It was 10 K-Cups for coffee. $13. What world are we living in this country? So, guys, keep your money for your coffee, your bread, your eggs, your gas. We don't need your donations. It is really appreciated. Thank you. But keep your money. If you want to come over and join Patreon, we do 8 shows a month for $9.99. Join us on Patreon, but you don't have to donate any money. Save the money for your families, and you guys don't have to ever donate to our channel. We're never asking no one for no donations. Thank you, though, Tim. I really appreciate it. NYC is finished for the regular person. It's been finished for a long time. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see. Michael, do you remember when the Lufthansa heist occurred?
Oh, yeah.
What was the word on the street?
All right. I bought my club. It was on Bay 7th and 86th Street. There's a gas station. Anybody familiar with it? Right off the corner, across the street was the Pizza, and there was a gas station. For a guy named Angelo Seppi. Angelo Seppi, if you remember the movie Goodfellas, he was representing getting killed with his girlfriend. They didn't use Angelo's name, of course, but I bought the club off of him for $500, believe it or not. It's a little tiny club. The Persicos wind up owning the building. And Angelo was a good guy, and he was involved with Lufthansa. I didn't know Angelo until I got the club. He was related to Shorty Spiro, some way, somehow. Shorty Spiro that was murdered by Papa, the Colombo family. Well, Papa was in Genovese, but Shorty, a good guy. Sammy talks about Shorty a lot. I knew Shorty way back. He was a good guy. And anyway, he was related to him. I don't know, through his wife's side or through his side. But Angelo was murdered along with his girlfriend when Lufthansa happened.
Do you have any thoughts on the recent arrest of Fama?
I got a lot of thoughts about a lot of things. Yeah. This mortgage application, they're going to look at you. It's to get women involved. They're going to look at you. They're going to step. They go for the weakest link on how to get you, and that's one of the. It's one of the easiest ways. Without having confessions, everybody say how many times you lied on a car loan application or lease. Everybody lies a little bit.
Not
That's
me.
a crime. I know somebody got 5 years ago. In the late 70s, got 5 years. That they couldn't get him. Wise guy. 5 years he got for lying on an application, loan application. From then, I was told never lie on an application. If they don't have nothing, they'll find something there. And that's, what lying is, just increasing your income. If you only make $50,000 and you say you made $150,000, you took the bank's money on false pretense, that's fraud. It's a federal crime. Read the disclaimer on the bottom. It's federal application. Insured by the FDIC, right? Federally insured. So normal people, they don't bother for the most part. You make a mistake, you're involved in something, they want to get you, they'll go right after your family. Weakest link. What happened to Joe Watts? He did it. He got arrested for that. Him and his mother-in-law and his wife. Another charge. other case.
Michael, are there any people dear to you in the top echelon of the Gambinos? Of course, no names. And do you think they would be happy to see you if you weren't, if it weren't for the rules?
It's a tough one for me to answer because there's a lot of new people out there, and
I can answer this for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Tell me if I'm wrong. I used this example on Patreon before. So let's say Ash is a school teacher.
I'm doing it live. What's up? Yeah, I'm doing it live. What's up? Everything good? Sonny boy, go ahead.
Let's say Ash is a school teacher, and she's been in the school district for 47 years.
Excuse me. Hello. I'm doing it live. You couldn't hear me on the other phone? All right, I'll give you a call back. Everything good? Okay, bye. Sorry about that.
If Ash been a school teacher for 47 years and then all of a sudden she's done, steps away, no longer teaching. She had 47 years of dealings with administrators, other school teachers, families, businesses, people in the community, kids graduating, everything. But she isn't a teacher no more. I would suspect for the rest of Ash's life, she has the ability to get information about what's going on in the district, what new things came into the school, who are some new teachers that are hired, and there's probably some people that are still active teachers or teachers in the district that she might communicate with from time to time. Fair point?
I get this.
It's no different than anything else in life that you've been involved with for a long time. You ain't a 47-year street guy and you lost, and you would lose all information that's on the street. Am I wrong on that?
Well, it's like anything else. People call you, and not that I go out seeking. I do not, and that's the truth. I do not go out asking questions about what's in the street. I'm not in the street no more. It has nothing to do with me. I'm not an investigator. I believe in letting. There's been enough damage done to leave things alone, and but people do call, and sometimes I want to hear something. Sometimes I tell them I don't want to hear it. So, but no, there's nothing that I could say that I have any contact or allegiance with anybody in the hierarchy of that family. No, I'm going to give you a straight answer.
Yeah, I remember I asked you that before about Sammy. I was like, Michael, I heard Sammy say he still talks to guys on the street. And I was like, there's no way that. You said, no, I believe that. I was like, really? You said, no, I believe he. I mean,
well, he gave a couple of names. He gave the names of the guys he talks to.
Well, I don't know about those names, but
he gave names.
He did, but come
people.
on. He said he was talking to Mickey Boy. I don't know if he's talking to Mickey Boy.
No, he said two other guys.
He said Mickey Boy too.
Did he say Mickey Boy? Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's talking.
He said Mickey Boy.
He's
I don't know about that.
He's delusional. And even if he is, he should never have said that. That's disgraceful. If they're putting everything their whole lives up, and I don't mean like physical, you being murdered type. Years ago, it could happen, but even today, they're putting all their reputation. These guys went to prison for long stretches. He's saying he's talking to them. Why would you want to do that to their trust? I don't understand. He's a sick bastard. That's why I guess he's making me nauseous just thinking about a little weasel. He's a rimbambito.
Irish Goodbye says, what is your reaction? Let me see here. What was your reaction to the Joey Molino video that was posted this week regarding Sammy? Did you see it?
I seen a clip of it. Yeah, I didn't see the whole video, of course, but I seen part of it. I got the gist of it. Listen, all these people, they go back and forth with this. And, Joey wasn't from New York, but I'm sure he has people and all the stuff that's out there, that's been out there for decades now. Let's see, it's been out there since Sammy flipped for sure, right? About some proclivity to, where did I get that word? For maybe having a dual lifestyle. One day I will talk about it, and maybe I could clear things up either way on it. But yeah, if Joey has something, Sammy keeps breaking this guy's chops. I just don't understand why Sammy would talk about Joey Molino in any fashion. It's like the way he talks about John Gotti being dead. First of all, you're talking about a dead guy. That was your boss. You want to dishonor his legacy. Now he's going after Joey for what? Leave Joey alone. Joey's in the street. He stood up. He did a lot of time. And I don't know how many racketeering cases. Sammy flipped in his racketeering case. He didn't go to trial. He flipped on it. So I don't understand what Sammy's point is to attack Joey or anybody else that's in the street. The guys in the street have the bragging rights of being street guys still, no matter what you think of them, whether they should be on YouTube or whether they eat vanilla or chocolate ice cream, or if they're a dog or not, or if they didn't kill 40 guys or not. Don't matter. They're in the street. You're a rat. That's it. You should never talk about Joey. And Joey wouldn't even talk about him. That's my opinion. But if he wants to talk about Joey, he's gonna talk about him back, and regardless of what you feel he should be doing or not doing.
Matt Davenport. Mike, can you talk about maybe the first large scheme or con you may have done when you joined the life, or maybe a job that went the wrong way?
Well, the biggest thing I got was the construction from John Sr. That was a huge turning point in my life and a very huge obligation for me at that time, and responsibility for the family and for John, for the Gottis. And I would say that's probably the biggest. Everything else, you work around that, but the initiative, that because it propelled me to be a captain right away, because I needed to be a captain to move around the city and talk to different families and have decision-making capacity. Don't forget, I was anointed decision-making capacity. There's only certain times I made those decisions on my own. But most of the times I brought him in and talked to Junior and got permission, even though I did have it. When I was appointed liaison to the Colombo family, Junior never met with Ali Boy or anybody else there in the hierarchy. During the war, they met with the other side. But Jackie knows, tell him Michael's got decision-making capacity. Whatever he says goes. I never used that, because I don't want one to make the decision. I bring it to you. It's always, hold on, I get back to you.
Sammy left, I think, $1.5 million, he said, on the street from a Shylock book.
Yeah.
How much? Who took the Shylock? Well, I think you took the book. It was given to you.
No,
how much money?
Here's what happened. Junior, John Sr. wanted to collect it, his Shylock book. And Big Louie had to go get it. Or Big Louie, because Huck used to handle the book. Huck had the book of every customer. Every Tuesday night when Sammy had his thing, including me, I was a Shylock customer of his at one time. For a long time at times, back and forth, because I was gambling, bookmaking, losing money, making money, and then so on and so forth. So I was a customer of his. So Huck had the book. So when he was asked to turn the book in, Louie got Huck to turn the book in. And he gave it to Junior. And he gave me and Huck the responsibility to go collect the money in the book. And he gave me $500 a week out of there. And he gave Huck $500 a week out of there to go collect the money in there, which wasn't really a good thing to do. I was uncomfortable doing it, because it was really, the guy ratted. You're going to go collect the rat's money? And there was wise guys that said, no way, I ain't paying this. And there were other guys that paid it. The guys in our family paid it. They had no choice. But the guys in other families said, no, I ain't paying it. Kick it up. Kick it upstairs. And no, we never did. Junior never kicked it upstairs. So
yeah, but the money belongs to the family, not to Sammy, right? Isn't that how it goes?
yeah, theoretically, but in the circumstance there, Sammy would have, let's say, died a natural death that he didn't flip, the money would have been collected for the most part, as much as you could have. Being he flipped, he ratted, was stigma on the money getting paid and collecting a rat's money, because I've heard that.
Like dirty money, yeah. How much of the 1.5 million did you guys collect? What you said?
I would say 800,000-900,000. I'm going to take a guess. I don't know. It's been a long time. We collected a lot of money. And then John would take the money that I brought in, because I would give it to him, not Huck. I brought the money into. He didn't want to take no money out of from Huck's hands or anybody in that crew's hands. They were lucky they were alive, some of these guys at that time. And he would give the three guys around him, three wise guys, he would give them a pay every week out of that money.
Yeah, didn't you say something, or I don't know if you said it or I heard Junior say it. Wasn't there something about he gave all the money away and he didn't want to keep the money?
No,
you guys collected it, but
that's
didn't
not
want
true. That's not true.
But did you hear that?
No, I never heard that. I know he gave me money, gave Huck money, he gave three guys around him money and salaries. They were real good guys. And he gave them money, $500 a week. I think he gave it to them also, each. So then Bobby dies, and some of the money came out of that, and some came out of construction to Bobby's wife after he was murdered.
I say in my book that a rum nickel and a junk nickel both spend as one nickel. The mob was banning drugs, but not, I didn't make. Hey.
No, that's hypocrisy, as we all know. I think the world is quite aware of the hypocrisy now. I think we open up everybody's eyes to that.
I think, you know what, Michael, I would say we are the ones that really opened that one up, because that was another big whopper that was constantly told that the mob didn't do in drugs and all that nonsense. So,
guys are still saying it.
I know, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, biggest drug dealers ever in this country.
It's just another commodity. It's like anything else, supply and demand, a vice that the populace wants, like alcohol going way back. And we said this ad nauseum again. They used to sell opium, and they used to smoke, including Lucky, opium in the opium dens. So those guys were whacked out too in those days. Some of them.
Jeff was making a point to me over the phone the other day about, he said, I don't know of anybody, the mob being in the prostitution business other than maybe way back during Lucky. Do you know of anybody that around your time that was in the business of women, like prostitution and stuff like that? No?
I got to think about it. No, not that I know of anybody who's a direct pimp. No. Now, do you consider having a strip joint, being like a pimp, making money off of girls taking their clothes off? Guess so. Could be, right?
No, it's different than selling prostitution to the. I guess that could be.
Well, things go on in those clubs.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Richard Gerard. Actually, no, he didn't. He's just making a general statement.
JJ, Sammy's a liar. That's why I named him Sir Lie a lot. Yeah, of course he dealt drugs.
Do you feel with? I asked that question, Michael. Did you have much interaction with Louis Ferranti while in the life? I like Louis.
I never heard of him until you told me about him with his book. I'm not taking nothing away from the guy. I don't know him at all. I never spoke to him ever, but I never dealt with him in the street, or I never met him in the street.
Yeah, I talked to him.
I'm just saying that I don't know.
I asked him if he ever met you. He said he met you, but you probably wouldn't remember him. But on a plane, I think he was with Pete or something, and he just said hi. He was like just hi and bye to each other. If I remember correctly, he said he met you on a plane before.
And he was with Pete Gotti?
I think he said he was with Pete, yeah.
No clue.
Yeah. I could check my text messages and find out, but I could have it a little off. But he said he met you once. He did tell me that. All right, getting down to the bottom here. Piggybacking on the Ruggiero question, if he didn't fail in killing Gas or just not attempt to, is Gas still motivated to start taking out everyone around Senior over Paul?
Yeah, Gas would have killed as many people as he can. Yeah, he's a sick guy, evil guy. He killed his own guys. Why wouldn't he kill our guys when he got permission to do it? Think about the person that was shot. Gas was shot by guys in our family. Guys were very close to John. You don't think he's going to have a vendetta against everybody around John? He's ever going to let it go? Look at the way he tortured the kid Heidel. The kid was only a messenger.
He didn't torture him. He shot him a couple times, but he didn't.
19 or something, whatever it was. But
Maybe 5 times, 10 times, 20 times. Well,
20.
I wanted to beat the guy with the gun. You don't remember that?
Yeah.
I didn't torture him. I shot him a couple times. Just a couple times? Maybe 5 times. Maybe more. Maybe 10 times. 15, maybe 20. I guess you didn't watch the CNN.
Yeah, I did with
60 minutes.
when he was in jail. Yeah. But you know, the guy was even though he wasn't a made guy, he's still a soldier in a family that was, you know, following orders. And you know, he got what he wanted. He got the names. He should have just killed him right there. But like I said, he went through those means after he got his answer to keep torturing the kid. You really think he's going to let that go for everybody who plotted, in his mind, that plotted against him? No way. He would have been killing guys for fun. He killed his own guy. He killed Testa for nothing, to get them mad at us, the family. He's sick human being. She's flipping.
Michael, I'm a cringy mafia fanboy.
Look, where you from?
I'm not a mafia fanboy at all. So 13 times.
Joe Candela, Robert Arena, and Thomas Maranga. Rest in peace. Yeah, I guess you're from that area. You know, Robert Arena had a beef. He killed somebody with Nicky Carrazzo, and that was revenge, of course. And if you kill somebody, you dig 2 graves when you do that, because you may die also. But Thomas Marengo was the sin there because he was really an innocent guy just sitting in the car. He should have never lost his life. That hit should have been passed on until they got Robert alone if they wanted to kill him.
Michael, you ever met Jack Russo? Was it true about him? Plus a certain person. If it's true, you know the certain person.
Who's Jack Russo? Knock the rust off for me, Paul. I don't know what Jack Russo is. It's not coming to me.
I shot maybe 2, tree, 4, 15 times tree. Let's see here. Final question on Patreon. 2 related questions. Why was John in prison when DB was murdered? And how accurate is Sammy's narrative that Angelo started scheming and spreading lies because he owed $250,000 DB to make John give the order?
Well, they're just him and Sammy, 2 devious guys. DB was by himself. He had no crew. He had nothing like that. He had no power base. He was a money guy and obedient. He stuck with, of course, Frankie Chico. He stuck with John with the overthrow of Paul. And listen to John's words. I knew why they were killing him. I let it happen anyway. So in other words, John's saying it was a bullshit reason. And that's a weak point on John for letting Sammy and Angelo get in his ear about that murder. And it was through messages because John was in prison. And I'm not sure which case that was. It might have been the O'Connor case. I'm just going to guess that he was in jail. So, yeah, he was sold a bill of goods and he let those guys do it. And a huge mistake.
Hi, Michael. It's wonderful to catch you on the live. I always wanted to ask you, why did Sammy kill Nicky Scabetta?
Yeah, one day I'll tell that story.
All right, we'll take a few more here. Let everybody go watch football.
Oh, he's from Boston, Junior Russo. No, I never met any of the guys from Boston. Nope.
Would you ever meet Sammy? Does Sammy lie a lot regarding his stories?
No, I would never meet him. Wouldn't talk to him on the phone. Wouldn't do anything with him. He's a despicable human being, a liar. He does have his story. A lot of his stories are true. He used to be an 80%er, tell the truth, 20% lie. Now he's a creator. And you could see when he gets mad at me or some other people, we just contradict his lie, and he can't keep his own lies straight. He contradicts himself in his own videos. So no, I would never ever meet him. He's a disgrace for a human being, and he still has a huge following, and I just can't understand it because look at all the things that come out about this guy. He's just disgrace. Hey,
Can you
hi,
please
mate.
share? Can you please share the
Man.
story of the first time you met John Gotti?
Yeah, I was at there was a meet with the a committee that was put together by Paul Castellano to go around about the edict of dealing drugs. They were pulling the captains and the soldiers of each crew, like 2-3 captains at a time with their crew. And one of the meetings was held at my grandmother's house. Paulie Zach had asked me to set it up there because I was in '79. I was already getting proposed. So for nostalgic reasons, well, my grandfather's house. My grandfather was dead by then. Of course, he died in '71. But for nostalgic reasons, because they had a lot of meetings at my grandfather's house going back. And he says, let's have the meeting there. It'll look good for you. And upon everybody coming out, I knew a lot of the guys because they were from the neighborhood. It was Tado, Jimmy Brown's crew, and Joe Gallo, and all those guys from Manhattan. Well, not all. Some of them were there. And upon John coming out, he introduced me to John. It's John Gotti, and shake hands. And after John, some small conversation, walks away. Paulie says, "See that guy? That's going to be our next boss." And an Oblidan and a Sicilian saying that when we just have a Sicilian boss 3 or 4 years earlier. So it was quite impressive to hear that come from Paul. I didn't open my mouth. I just listened. And look how it turned out.
Read RJ's book. He's an outsider with an intellectual perspective of mob mentality and operational habits. That guy is the antithesis of mafia fanboy. You are referring to 90% of Gravano's crowd. Thank you, Arkhams. I appreciate that. Nice comment. Thank you very much, brother. All right, let's see. Michael, this will be the final question. Michael, how did Gravano and the Carrazos get on?
They never went out for a drink. They never did anything together. I think he went to his people when he left the club, the Ravenite, and Gravano went to Tally's or wherever he went to a restaurant to eat afterwards. They never commiserated together, ever that I know about. I really think they didn't like each other.
Let me ask you that for the sake of this one final thing we'll close on, because we were here to discuss the Carrazzo video. When Gene Gotti sent word out of prison, don't light a fire that you can't put out.
Yeah.
Can you explain what that means, and why put it this way, why was Gene suspicious of the Carrazzos?
Well, they had a history going way back. They really didn't like each other. But Nicky's a force. Nicky had a big crew, had a lot of guys around him. So did his brother Jojo have a lot of guys. Hey, Mike. And after after Sammy flipped, Louis Valerio was taken down from the committee. And there was a spot open, and Junior puts Nicky there. And when Jeannie, I guess, heard about it, he sent a message back to Junior to say, don't start a fire you can't put out. He knows Nicky was an aggressive guy, and figured he'd give him that kind of power because Nicky was already a captain. John Sr. made him a captain. That it was a mistake giving him that kind of power.
This was fun. We going for dinner.
Mike, where'd he go? He made a cameo appearance.
Yeah, he's here. He said, "What's soon, fellas?"
What's soon? What's that?
I don't know what he means by that.
Hey, we got
So
a guy from
tonight.
Got a guy from New Zealand. Hello, New Zealand.
Doing. He meant, what are you guys doing?
Okay. Oh, do it. You must be talking into it or something.
So,
yeah.
Well, guys, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We got a lot of new people on here on YouTube. Look, tell them about Patreon. They could come watch all the photos we got up there, videos.
So, guys, we got some people. We have a leaker on there who's leaking some of our photos out, but Michael has a great arsenal of really great photographs. We got a lot of pre-records up there. the Gotti tapes, we stopped talking about that, but we went through all the transcripts. We read every word that was presented in court of John Gotti Above the Ravenite 16-part series. Come check it out. So we do 2 shows a week, 8 shows a month. It's $9.99 a month. Come over. We do meet and greets. We make phone calls. We'll talk with you. We'll do whatever. It's a really good community on Patreon, and you never see some of the nonsense you have to see when you're on YouTube. No one attacks each other. It's no fighting. You get more intellectual people than just saying, no, this guy's a fanboy. You get like intellectual conversations, stimulating conversations, thought-provoking, philosophical, theory-based conversations, and you can be around a little bit better of an audience. And which is why so many of these channels are moving behind the paywall, because they just don't want to deal with all this nonsense that you get on YouTube. So come over to Patreon, check us out. I will put a link in the description of the video and in the comment section.
Yeah, you have some fun. They're great people. Everybody respects each other. Everybody's respectful.
Yeah.
And they keep it real with each other, and they help each other out. When there's questions about technology on here that goes awry, there's people that jump in and help you out. There's 1 or 2 more questions here. I see Zarko. I need my glasses, but I think it says Zarko. You think John underutilized the Westies? No. Coonan was with him. Coonan used to go out and see John. They had Buddy Leahy and Mickey Cahill with the construction. Joe Watts took care of them for a while. For the most, they respected Joe Watts. Joe Watts got along good with them. No, they had a place, and John knew they all had drug issues, and he did the right thing by keeping them at a minimum. Except for those other guys, he liked them.
This is a very true statement. A real man or woman is always respectful. The art of my life. I 100% believe that. You can tell a lot by a person by the way they carry themselves. Being very vitriolic and full of vulgarity, you're really not talking about the person that you're talking to. You're kind of you're shining a light on your own character when you act like that. So if you can articulate yourself without 1,000 F words.
Yeah. Well,
you're talking more about
sometimes
yourself.
you use it to stress a point or something like that, or you get passionate. It happens. And then you don't need that kind of language really to we would like to have everybody on here that maybe we strike a point that they can show their mother or their father without us using that language. So
saying it since we started, any show I make, my goal is that my mom, father, daughter can all watch it without saying, oh, that's my dad. Oh, that's the son I made. Hook me up with a Patreon. Guys, if you can't afford to pay, you need a sponsorship, email the show, mdnoexcuses@gmail.com. MD, like Michael's name, no excuses. mdnoexcuses@gmail. We'll sponsor you to join the show.
My cat's a Mancoon with a big voice, 19 years old. Robert Oregon says, have you met Scars? I know if I ever met Huck, of course, I know Huck since 1980, 79, 80. Yeah.
We're going to do a pre-record on Puck coming up here soon. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you for everybody being here. Have a great Sunday. Go watch football, whatever you do. Eat a lot and just chill out Sunday. God bless. Keep smiling. Stay well.